Work session for the June 20th board meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is the pledge, led by board member Tammy Sharp. Thank you, Ms. Sharp. All right, we have any questions on the agenda? Okay, any questions on the consent agenda? All right. All right, Mr. Spurlock, let's do some introductions here.
All right. First of all, we're going to introduce our three new principals. We'll start off with Ms. Clark. If she'd come up, she's the new principal. We'll be taking over at Rocky Fork Middle School. If you want to come up and tell us a little bit about yourself, your experience.
Will do. Hi, I'm Jennifer Clark. I am the principal of Rocky Fork Middle School. This is my 20th year in Rutherford County as an educator. I also served 2 years before as a job coach at Smyrna High School. I've been at Rockville Middle, Smyrna Middle, and now Rocky Fork Middle. So I'm excited to be here. Thanks.
Excited to have you. All right, next will be Ms. Sneed. She'll be taking over at Woodworth Buchanan.
Thank you. I am April Sneed. I am a graduate of Rutherford County Schools. I graduated from Laverne High School. I've been in Rutherford County. Next year will be year 20 for me as well. And I've spent 8 years as an assistant principal at Rockville Middle. I've also taught 7th grade ELA at Rock Springs Middle, and I've also been a teacher at Smyrna West. And that's my background. I'm really excited to be leading Whitworth Buchanan next year. Thank you.
Thank you. And next is Dr. Westerfield. She'll be taking over for Stewartsboro Elementary.
Hello, I'm Larissa Westerfield. I am going to be the principal, or I am the principal at Stewartsboro Elementary. The last 3 years I have been the assistant principal at Cedar Grove Elementary, which I have adored, and so it's really awesome to be able to make that transition in the same area. Before that, I was 9 years in the classroom in an elementary school in Nashville. My family moved out to Rutherford, and so I've been a part of this system. This is going into my 4th year here, and I love it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We're excited about all three. They come with a background of success, and we know that will continue to make their schools better.
Thank y'all. All right, number 8.
All right, number 8 is for information only. It's found on tab 2, new job descriptions for some positions that have been in our budget. The first one is a behavior interventionist. It's a federally funded position. This will actually be funded at Smyrna Elementary School. Number 2, we have a behavior support specialist, federally funded. This will be, this was the reason for this position that we requested is due to a disproportionality of discipline to some of our special ed students, and therefore we were required in our educational in our plan to provide a actionable intervention to decrease that. Number 3 is also funded by the ATSE grant, the Additional Targeted Support Grant. This will be at Laverne Middle School. Number 4, Human Resource Recruiter Background Processor, 12-month full-time classified position. Number 5, Transportation Router. We have a 12-month hourly classified level 4. And we also, this is the number 6 is a requirement by the state. Compliance Coordinator for Transportation. This is a 12-month hourly classified level 4 position. All right, number 9, our special education contracts. Tab 3. All these are agreements for transporting students to the Tennessee School for the Blind. As you can see here, we have several of our school systems. Murfreesboro City Schools, this agreement is for the provision of transportation service for students from Murfreesboro City School System on Rutherford County buses that currently go to the Tennessee School for the Blind. This service has been provided in the past on space available basis. The Murfreesboro City School System will reimburse the Rutherford County system at $49.35 per student per day for transportation to the Tennessee School for the Blind. Bedford County Board of Education. This agreement is for the provision of transportation services for the students of Bedford County of Education on Rutherford County buses that currently go to the Tennessee School for the Blind. This service has been provided in the past at space available basis. The Bedford County Board of Education will reimburse Rutherford County schools at $49.35 per student per day for transportation to TSB. Cannon County Board of Education. This agreement is for the provision of transportation services for the students from Cannon County Board of Education on Rutherford County school buses that currently go to Tennessee School for the Blind. This service has been provided in the past on a space available basis. The Cannon County Board of Education will reimburse the Rutherford County school system at $49.30 per student per day for transportation to TSB. Mr. Sandvig, approximately what's that end up being?
We have seen it cross the $10,000, $15,000 mark. It just depends on what their needs are, and I'm not aware of an instance where we have not had
Space
some
available.
room, space available, yeah.
Do they have to transport those kids? Do we have to go get them? Do we go to Bedford County and County?
No, but we will select a point, say with Bedford County, a far point. We'll select a kind of a delivery point that they'll get the kid to that point, and we will get the child from there. I don't know what exact points we've used,
But it's within our county,
right,
our
yes,
county.
Any other questions on that? All right. Number 2 there.
All right, number 2, continuation of collaboration agreement with Mid-Cumberland Head Start. This collaboration agreement between Mid-Cumberland Head Start, Early Head Start, and Rutherford County Board of Education stipulates that Mid-Cumberland Head Start will provide transportation and educational services for eligible Rutherford County students requiring speech therapy. Rutherford County Board of Education will provide speech screenings annually each fall for children participating in the Head Start program, and will conduct a child find evaluations and will provide speech therapy for eligible students in the Head Start program. This collaboration will continue through the 2019-20 school year unless terminated by either participant in writing.
Any questions? All right. Number 3.
All right, number 3 is a contractual agreement with the Wesley Foundation of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The contract for the lease and rental agreement between Rutherford County Schools and the Wesley Foundation is for the rental of the house located at 1607 Elrod Street, adjacent to the Wesley Foundation at MTSU. This house and the Wesley Foundation Student Center will be the central locations for which the Transition Academy program will be based. This agreement includes the use of space at the Wesley Foundation Student Center at no additional charge. The monthly rental cost of the house is $1,350 per month from August the 1st, 2019 through July the 31st of 2020. I'm going to have Ms. Kozabowski kind of explain what that is. I know I got the opportunity to go out there. I think it was toward the end of the year. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, if you've never been out there, the Transitional Academy, you need to take a trip. It's amazing.
It's a great program, and
is.
it's been in existence for several years now. Started with a grant, and then we've absorbed that in our general purpose funds. But we have students who are 18 to 22 that are housed there, and they learn how to access the community, and they do a lot of work-based learning and life skills within that program. They learn how to budget, they learn how to grocery shop, they cook. They probably invited you to their picnic.
They did.
And they always host a Thanksgiving for the community, but they also partner with MTSU students, so they have peers of their age that they work with and do some recreational activities with.
You know, it's little things like this we don't hear a lot of, and like I said, it's what we're giving to our and the parents. Oh, they're so involved.
But yes, the feedback's been great from parents about how their students kind of blossom in their independence, and they're able to access jobs and the community so much more independently and become productive members of the workforce. So that's always a goal.
Kudos to you.
Okay, number 4.
All right, number 4, contractual agreement with Sherry Bryant for language training and support. The contract for training and consultant service to include up to 28 hours of in-service training for language, reading program of 72 hours of classroom coaching during the 2019-20 school year. The hourly rate is $60 per hour and 47 cents per mile mileage between locations not to exceed 10,000 for the entire contract.
Questions? Number 5.
All right, this is contractual agreement with Special Kids, Inc. The contract with Special Kids, Inc. is for special education-related nursing services. These services will provide speech/language, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and nursing services to the Rutherford County school students in special kid facilities. Hourly rates for therapy are $70 per hour. Daily rates for nursing services are $125 per day. The total cost not to exceed $25,000 during the 2019-20 school year and will be paid from IDEA Part B special education funds.
Questions? All right, number 6.
All right, number 6, contractual agreement with NHC Rehabilitation. The contract with NHC Rehabilitation is for special education-related services. These services will provide occupational therapy and physical therapy to Rutherford County school students in the home and school settings. Hourly rates for physical therapists are $69 for lead, $65 occupational therapists are $67, and physical therapy assistants are $55, and occupational therapy assistants, COTA, are $57. This contract reflects an RFP of 19-03 approved by the board on May 9th of 2019. The total cost not to exceed $250,000 during the 2019-20 school year and will be paid from IDEA Part B special education funds.
Questions? All right, number 7.
All right, number 7, contractual agreement with Phelps Therapy Services, LLC. The contract with Phelps Therapy, LLC is for special education-related services. These services will provide speech, language therapy to Rutherford County students in the home and school settings. Hourly rates for speech/language therapists are $53 and $43 for speech-language therapy assistants. The total cost not to exceed $75,000 during the 2019-20 school year and will be paid from IDEA Part B special education funds.
Questions? All right, number 8.
All right, number 8, contractual agreement with Genesis Learning. This is also known as Rutherford Academy. Is that correct? All right, the contract with Genesis Learning is the day treatment services as indicated in the IEP for Rutherford County students grades 1 through 12. This contract reflects the RFP number 19-02 approved by the board on May 9th of 2019. The rate for the 19-20 school year is as follows. The daily rate is $155 per student per day. Rate for one-to-one individualized support is $19.50 with a $15 hourly rate plus benefits. Transportation is $435 per bus per day. These services are to meet individualized needs of students as determined by the IEP team not to exceed $1.7 million during the 2019-20 school year to be paid from GP special education funds. Mrs. Kozlowski, do you know approximately how many we currently have there that are serving us?
It's about 40 students currently. There's some fluctuation at the end of the year. There are some students that are transitioning back to their home school. A lot of the students that end up at Rutherford Academy are students that come from other places with a similar service in their IEP from other districts. So,
When you looked at the historical enrollment over the last several years, have we seen an increase, decrease, stayed the same, or what?
it's a little bit less than it was a few years ago. We're trying to really look at how we can provide services within the school building when at all possible.
Good.
Okay, any questions? Number 9.
All right, number 9, facilities used for approved for exemption pursuant to Board Policy 3.206, public education schools, institutions, post-secondary education institutions, private universities and colleges, governmental entities or agencies that provide benefits to the Rutherford County school system or have an in-kind relationship approved by the Director of Schools may request the Board of Education to allow exemption from the use of facility fee, which the Board may allow or deny Based on the details of specific requests, the following groups qualify for exemption. There are none at this time.
Did we skip number 9? Did I miss number 9? Because I had a question about that one. Did we do number 9?
Okay, number 9.
Okay, go ahead.
Is that a new service that we're offering?
The sellers,
Yes.
no, it is not a new service. We are continuing it. We did have some agreement to provide some July hours. With the growth positions that were granted by the board, we anticipate that contract cost going down.
Let's go back over that again. I think we did skip that. All right, number 9, contractual agreement with Sellers Behavioral Consulting LLC, the contract for behavioral consulting services to include independent review of functional behavior assessments and behavior intervention plans, the FBA, BIP development, the student observation, IEP support team meeting attendance, intervention, modeling, staff training, creation of materials to support interventions, behavior data, collection and analysis, and the phone conferencing fees for these services are paid at a rate of $125 per hour. Primarily, well, how often do we use those consistently, or is it in a situation where we are anticipating an issue?
It's a very individualized basis. Often it's when we have a legal issue that we're trying to resolve that we'll get an independent person to come in and review our behavior specialists and BCBA work.
So prior to any type of complaint or anything of that nature, we use the service?
Not always prior. A lot of times it's as part of a resolution session after we have had a due process filed. Sometimes it's with our more significant cases that we are trying to prevent some sort of legal action.
Have we kept up on the use of this entity right here? Has it brought down the amount of going to due process? I think what I'm trying to do, is it working? I guess it's the best way.
I don't know if it's caused less due process. I think we've been able to resolve some due processes instead of continuing those by bringing this consultant in and working with the student and the teachers so that we didn't continue on with the due process hearing. It was settled.
For those that, that do not know the special ed thing, carry us through how that works through mediation, the complaint, and things of that nature.
So parents have the right to file a complaint in one of 3 ways. They can file an administrative complaint, a mediation request, or a due process. Those things are filed with the State Department, and then we get notice of those that are filed with us. And then there's a specific timeline that has to happen. Once a due process is filed, we have 15 days to hold a resolution session. A resolution session is a meeting that we try to come up with some sort of compromise or agreement in order to drop that due process. And often when we get to that level, we try to come up with a compromise with parents or find out what the real issue is or find a way to address whatever concern the parent might have. At that point, that's when we sometimes bring in the outside consultants to help review our work and work with our staff and help train teachers and things of that nature. From there, if it's not resolved, then the full due process hearing continues, and that process is a long, lengthy process, sometimes more than a year, and it accrues fees as we continue through that legal process because we have expert witnesses, we have the lawyer's fees, we have just the documentation and the process that needs to happen in order to defend whatever concern that we have to defend.
I would say all this, and I appreciate you going through this, is as we get larger, and I know currently our special population is kind of stayed consistent, but as we get larger, I know Ms. Page is spending a lot of her time on in that area.
Yes, sir.
It's just food for thought there, as we continue to grow. A lot of systems do have a staff attorney that's designated for, even Wilson County does, that's designated for the special ed,
Correct.
specifically.
It is a very time-consuming process. At any given point in time, there's usually 4 to 6 due processes going on. It consumes a lot of my staff time, my personal time, Ms. Page's time. And a lot of it is gathering records, talking to teachers, investigating the situation, trying to make sure that we have a defensible case. And even when we feel like we've done everything right by that child, we still have to go through the process of proving that through the expert witness process.
Thank you.
All right, number 11.
All right, number 11, we'll start with these amendments. The Fund 141, General Purpose School Budget, 2018-19. We'll start with CTE, Career Technical Education. This amendment moves already budgeted CTE, Career Technical Education funds between two CTE functions. The primary reason behind the amendment is because May and June travel for the national competition participation had to be moved from the Perkins federal budget back into the GPS budget. These competitions are part of the requirements for CTE.
Questions?
Guess we go on down here and continue on with these.
Okay.
All right, 2, liability and property insurance. This amendment reallocates a total of $127,240 in already budgeted liability property insurance premiums to insurance line items where they are needed. 3, technology. The State Department of Ed has made a change in the account. We are used to record the access points and other expenditures related to our network in the schools. This amendment moves $842,000 in already budgeted technology expenditures from function 71-100 to technology function 72-250, and it cleans up the expenditures within that function. Number 4, revenue committed fund balance and related expenditures. This amendment covers $330,270 in revenues that are related to specific expenditures and reduces by $23,235. The fire insurance proceeds from the Blackman Wrestling Building that are being held in account 34,655, committed for education, in order to cover the $44,010 in expenditures for the rebuilding of that structure. $234,637 E-rate revenue, $158,869 to technology budget, and $75,768 transferred to Fund 189 for elementary land. $41,008 revenue and offsetting expense for the SPED individualized education accounts. $3,850 additional state revenue for voluntary pre-K classes. $30,000 safe school funds and related expenditures. $20,775 additional insurance proceeds for the Blackman Wrestling Building. The last revenue is being combined with the $23,235 from the funds committed for the Blackman Wrestling Building to cover the $44,010 in expenditures in the account 76-100-399. The Engineering and Construction Department have used this $44,010 to move towards preparing for the replacement of this building. Mr. Lee, where are we on that?
Over the $300,000 that was left from insurance money when the building broke down. What they were proposing to build is about 3 or 4 times the size of the original building. They thought they had some money from wrestling and from ROTC to put with it to rebuild it, but they don't have that kind of money. I talked with the wrestling coach, and they had proposed to potentially build half the building, but you have to go through a redesign. What's been designed now, you can't just cut it in half and say we'll build half of it. It doesn't quite work that way. So even if they did that, my thought is somewhere between $650,000 and $750,000, which is still quite a bit more than what's in the fund. So right now they're trying to decide where they want to go and how they want to get there.
We got a long ways to go.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 4, revenue committed fund balance and related expenditures. This amendment covers the $330,000 and $270 in revenues that are related to specific expenditures and reduces by $23,235. Did I not read that already?
You done read that.
Okay, man, I'm lost here. All right, committed, number 5, committed fund balance for new schools. That's what we want to talk about.
Yes, sir.
The amendment moves the $5 million that has been set aside in account 34655 committed fund balance to cover the first year operating costs of Rockville High and Rocky Fork Elementary to the unassigned fund balance account 39000. 6, 2018-19 revenues. This amendment increases the 2018-19 revenues by $8,494,755 and uses $524,497 for the 2018-19 expenditures. The 3 largest expenditures total $475,000 and are for custodial supplies, nurses, and the trustees commission. All right, 7, substitute teachers. This cleanup budget amendment of $61,500 moves budgeted substitute teacher expenditures between functions to address the actual costs of contracted substitute teacher services in various areas: regular instruction, alternative school, and special education. 8, transfer within major functions for non-labor line items. This cleanup budget amendment of $688,252 moves budgeted funds within the major functions to cover actual non-labor expenditures such as maintenance and equipment purchases that is occurring at the end of the school year to prepare for the next school year. This budget amendment transfers already budgeted non-labor line items to more accurately report actual expenditures and does not impact the fund balance. 9, career and technical education textbooks. This budget amendment of $105,000 is to cover additional textbook expenditure costs for the CTE program by moving budgeted funds from the regular instruction textbook line item. All right, which leads us to number 2 on financial matters, 143, Fund 143, centralized cafeteria, 2018-19 budget amendments. This amendment reduces the budgeted amount of $1,396,155 in deficit in this fund by $725,000 to $671,155. Revenues are being increased by $910,000, and the net increase in expenditures is $185,000. Contracted maintenance, commodity delivery charges, and higher food costs are the line items requiring the most of this increase. All right, number 3 is the Fund 189 building program for 2018-19 budget amendment E-rate revenue. The amendment takes the $78,768 budgeted in general purpose school transfer expenditure and adds these funds to the building program budget for elementary school land purchases. This part of our 2018-19 E-rate revenue is related to the building program expenditures.
All right. Is that it?
And we got this number 4, stipends for attendance training. The district is using the Train the Trainer model as we switch our student information system from iNow to Skyward. The Train the Trainer model is a much more cost-effective method than paying Skyward trainers to provide all staff training. Mr. Delbridge is requesting that the board approve paying a stipend of $2 per day to 7 carefully selected attendance specialists from across the district to serve as our district trainers. We will use them for a 3-day training session both in June and July. This method also allows flexibility to vary the class size to meet the district needs. Once trained, they will be able to provide training within their home schools while serving as resources for their fellow grade band specific peers. The trainer consists of 3 high school, 1 K-12, 1 middle, and 2 elementary school attendance specialists. The cost for the June and July is $4,200 each month for a total of $8,400. The funding is being addressed in the amendments.
All right. Number 5.
All right, number 5 is the Oakland High School field turf. The bid for the Oakland High School artificial turf Warner Construction has been recommended as the best and lowest bidder for the project to install turf on the Oakland High School football field. The bid is $577,722, and the alternate for the Legion NEXT for an additional $29,500 is also being recommended for a grand total of $607,222. The contract shall not be executed or project begun until Mr. Marshall has provided documentation to the Director of Schools and the Finance Director that the performance bond is in place and financing and the loan package for the project has been completed. Would you guys mind coming up on speaking on this?
We appreciate the opportunity and to be back and in a position to be able to move forward with the project. The bid process went as best as it could, and it gave us a price that we were able to move forward with based on the sponsorships and donations that we received to this point. So we are at that point of finalizing with those individuals, and most of that is probably 95% complete, and we'll be 100% complete within the next couple of days of all of the final contract documentations with financing and the remainders that we have with the additional sponsorships. But we have secured the necessary funds in place as required by the board from the previous motion of 20% upfront in hand, and soliciting the financing to be able to move forward. Thanks to some very supportive individuals in the community and businesses that have come forward, that has been well received and appreciated, and allowed us to be able to impact our students in a positive way through this process.
Any questions?
State championship didn't hurt, did it? What is the Legion NXT, and pardon my ignorance?
I'll let you explain.
Well, I can't lie. It's one of the best out there, and we've got a really fair price on it because we're going to be one of the model schools. There's no high school in the Southeast that has it, and because we're a model school, we got a really good price on it. It's their newest and best product, and we wouldn't ask for anything else except for the best that's out there. So with that being said, they did give us a fair price. I think Lou Warner and his company also did a really good job on the bid. They're local people from Rutherford County, and I think that's always a positive. But as far as the NXT, I think it's one of their best products, and it's going to make our field look really good.
What does it do? I mean, what is it, or how does it look? Or
Well, it doesn't grow, so we hadn't got to worry about mowing it or what.
that's good.
It's actually a trifilament, I believe, if we want to get into specifics, but it's a little different than normal turf. A lot of turf is a monofilament. We've learned quite a bit about turf here lately, but instead of just one strand, like you saw 20 years ago, now there's 3 different strands, and it's supposed to be more grass-like, and instead of being so abrasive, it's going to be more like grass.
And the goal for this field being finished and ready to play on, just the goal, not holding you to anything, just asking, is when?
Yeah, perfect situation is right before our jamboree. We have a jamboree in which we host Gallatin, but our first game will be a couple weeks after that. So, looking back at the Blackman project, they were put way behind because of rain, one of the wettest springs I've ever remembered. But I think if the weather holds out, I think we'll get it down before the season starts.
Thank you.
2 questions, Coach. Don't leave just yet. First thing, longevity of the field itself. What's the projection on years?
All turf companies pretty much give you an 8-year warranty, but they're projecting 10 to 15 with this new product, and that's pretty much what we've been selling to our guys that are part of our advertising. Is they're looking to be on the field the life of the turf, which is somewhere between 8 to 15 years.
And the last question is the number of teams that use the field. What's that typically look like, including yours and Oakland?
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason that we really needed it. You know, I'm all for the new shiny thing and love having the best of whatever, but at the same time, we're looking at almost 200 games on our playing surface in a year's time. We're looking at putting out not just flag football, but youth football. Our middle school has a junior high team, so they've got a couple games every time that they play. Of course, we have a freshman team, a JV team, a varsity team, boys and girls soccer. We're looking maybe at letting some lacrosse teams play on it as well. So there's a lot of benefits, not just to Oakland High School, but the whole community. And because we're so generous with our field, it's really hard to grow grass. And once it gets to dying, it's really hard to get it to grow back, especially in the winter months. So I think this is going to be a benefit not just to Oakland High School, but the entire community.
I think it's safe to say, too, and you're not going to mention it probably, but last year, at the end of the year, your field was in really bad shape, wasn't it? I mean, it was in serious shape, and I'm going to go ahead and say some things you're not going to say. Did you all not stay out there until the middle of the morning? I'm talking about the wee hours of the morning, fixing it for the next game and that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, you know, it's a good problem to have. We had a lot of games at our place in the playoffs, and we hope to continue to have that problem. But to be honest, we had some safety issues. There were some divots, and eventually they turned into ditches. Again, it was a very wet season. You don't always see that, but it caused some rough terrain out there. And like I said, it could have very easily led to a lot of safety issues. The Tennessee Titans actually donated some turf to us. You know, they pulled up some turf right after a concert, and we finished one morning after a ball game about 2:30 in the morning laying sod. Now, laying sod is never too enjoyable, but it's really not fun after a football game at 2:30 in the morning. So we did a lot of things to kind of patch it up, and you know, we're kind of tired of patching up our problem. We want to fix it right now, and we appreciate you allowing us to do it.
Mr. Spurlock, Director. I think given the climate right now of concerns that are out there as far as budget increases and possible tax increases and so on, that it's, because it's not stated in here, that it's important to reiterate, maybe for the public and people that might be watching this, that this field, new field, is being put in at no expense to the board, and this is not coming out of the school board's budget. I just, again, there's so many concerns out there. I just think it's important that we reiterate that. I don't want to see on the front page of the paper, even Facebook tomorrow, about how we're spending $500,000 on a new field. So.
Right, and that's true. We have independently gone out and raised the money, and we're very pleased about that, because there's a lot of hard work that went into that, and it should come in as no expense to the board.
Say, you know, congratulate you and Mr. Marshall. It's testimony of you guys and Blackman High School that have gone out and done something that above and beyond the norm, and we appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
I had one more. So there's no, it's going to be completely debt-free. There's no loan. There's no financing. Y'all are going to have all the money to complete this project.
There is a financing component because of the commitment, the sponsorship commitments that's built in over time. It's identical to the Blackman financing, where those commitments are over time. So there is some financing involved, but the financing that financing is guaranteed to the Oakland End Zone Club, of the booster school support organization, and no liabilities with the school in that.
Okay, thank you. Nice ring.
Any other questions? Thank y'all. All right. Number 12.
All right, number 12, facilities, found on tab 5. Thurman Francis, Principal Jeff McCann is requesting to purchase a 10 by 12 wooden storage building to be placed in the rear of the school. Engineering and Construction has reviewed the requested placement location and found it to be acceptable. This request is at no cost to the board.
Questions on that? Okay, Rockwell High School.
Rockville High School, Barton Malo has submitted approval change order number 2 for $300,000. This change order is for revisions to the approved Highway 99 drawings by TDOT for $150,000 and increase the bituminous index for asphalt of $150,000. Engineering Construction agrees with the request. New contracted amount would be $63,884,500. Mr. Lee, will you speak on that?
We did a traffic study, of course, for this project, was put out for bid, met everything, that all the requirements of those documents, and then you have to, once you get a permit from TDOT, you only have 6 months to start the work. So it's been 2 years since the job bid. We applied for the permit at the first of this year because we were going to do the work this summer. TDOT's changed their mind and changed some of their regulations. Those changes to the drawings and the additional work, $150,000. The bituminous index is an index on the asphalt that it actually makes paving, the black slurry part. TDOT puts out an index every year. They have since 2005. And basically what you do is when a job is bid, you go by that bituminous index of what the going rate for asphalt is at that time. Puts everybody on a level playing field. Then when you actually place the asphalt, you pay the difference between what it was when you bid it and what it was the day you put it down. We've been placing asphalt for the last 3.5 months. So each month I get an update of how many yards, which equates to how many tons they've placed. When the job bid in May of 2017, the bituminous index was $373.18. Typically it's cyclical. It goes up and down based on weather and OPEC and a number of values, but usually predominantly it rises a little bit over time. However, in the last 3 years, it's gone off the chart. It hasn't gone down. April's bituminous index was 523.75. So that's over $150 per ton since then. So we've projected what the tonnage is for each month and how we're going to finish. We're going to be able to finish this month in June, so we know what tonnage we have left, and it calculates to $150,000. So we're paying them the difference in the price, and that's fair. That's fairly standard. All the counties around us do it. TDOT does it. It's a way to make it, especially on jobs that are out 2 years, because they're either going to speculate and they're going to be way high and they're going to make a buttload of money, or they're going to speculate and be real low. So it's a fair way for all those that do the asphalt work to be on a level playing field. They have an index that we go by.
On the revisions on this, on the highway, what did that entail?
They've increased some of the stacking for the turning lanes. They've extended how far back we go. They've widened a few sections. And it's created some change. When they go back, it takes more of the ditch line that you have to adjust to, the grades and things of that nature. They give us a breakdown of how many cubic yards, how much additional rock, and how much paint, and all those kinds of things. Everything's been reviewed by our engineers.
All right. Okay. Mr. Evans, you got anything you want to say about the zone exemptions?
Not at all, but if you have questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you. How many do we have tomorrow night? 5.
We have 2 that are rollovers from last time that the board had asked for additional information, and then 3 new ones.
That's 5 in, right?
Yes, sir, 5.
Thank you. Insurance update.
Updates this time.
Okay. Director's update.
Make information available tomorrow, or excuse me, Thursday.
Okay. Ms. Johnson, Tennessee, tomorrow night?
Tomorrow.
Okay. Mr. Hodge? Okay, thank you. General discussion. We do have our board evaluations here. If you'd like to look over them. Is this from Wilson and Bedford and our self-evaluation, correct? Okay. Y'all can look over those tonight, and if you got any questions, we'll try to answer them. Anything else?
At some point, Mr. Chairman, I don't know how much input we have on this. I guess we could have a lot, but the Rockvale graduation, I noticed he hadn't picked a date yet, which is fine. And he's going to have a small class. I don't believe Rockville will be able to handle their graduation in 2 or 3 years from now, but I think right now they can handle it, probably. But I sure would like to see them on a night, on their first graduation, where there was no conflicts. Now, and we can encourage him to do that. Maybe it's not possible, I don't know. But I'd hate to give up one to go to Rockvale, but I think probably that if you're going to go to a graduation, Rockvale's first one would be a great one to go to. That was just my feeling. And I'd just like to see whether there wasn't a conflict. I don't know, Mr. Director, is May 12th, which is a Tuesday, is that possible, or is that too early, or
I mean,
do we know?
It's possible. I think it's possible. I mean, what we need to do is get with administrative staff early, with Rockville here soon, and perhaps maybe come up with a date.
Okay.
Typically, what we do on that is the first one, they do it somewhere besides MTSU, and then we put them into the rotation. They go at the end of the line on that second year. And it'll probably get a little bit more problematic as we add more
Right.
schools, but that's a good thing to have, I guess, an issue to have.
Anyone else? Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll be adjourned.